and welcome to the Gussets and Go Days podcast, episode number 10. My name is Christina and this is my podcast about my knitting, stitching and all my crafting endeavours. It's been a little while since I've seen you last. Thanks for joining me. I got quite a few projects to share with you, so I'm going to jump right in. The first thing is my finished object, and it is the tongue-tied pullover, which here it is. I'm going to move my chair for a second. So, this is by Amy Appel for the Poison Grrls, and it's just a little kind of tee with this lacy detail and with these garter triangles on the sleeves, which is, gosh, there I am, which I'm super happy with. I just finished this the other day. It's knit with this one, Drops Baby Alpaca Silk. It's a full ply fingering weight yarn, really lovely and soft. The colour is powder, 1306. So yeah, really lovely yarn, really soft. I'm super happy with it. I made the size large, which I ended up with a 41-inch bust on the finished garment, which fits me really well, and I am not a lace knitter really at all, and so you knit this little kind of area here and you knit this little bit here and then you join it round, and I found it really stressful, but I did it, so woohoo! And really happy with the result. I did not enjoy picking up the stitches around here because it's knit top down, and then you pick up stitches for the sleeves and you pick up stitches for the neckline. I really struggled. And then a viewer of the podcast said that I should split wherever I'm picking up stitches, I should split into quarters or fourths, and then in each quarter you're dividing the stitches. So if you have 100 stitches to pick up, which I think is a lot of stitches, well, it is a lot of stitches, you're doing 25, 25, 25, 25. So if you, by the time you get to your stitch marker, which would be your next quarter, and you haven't got the right amount, you don't need to remove all the stitches. I found that super useful. Lots of you probably do that already, but I didn't. So that was really useful. It's the first time I'm wearing it, and I'm really happy with it so far. So it fits really nicely and it's lovely and soft, and I'm hoping that it will wash and wear well. So yay! That's my that has taken me quite a long time because of the fingering weight, although it is a looser gauge than I'm used to working, because mostly I do socks, and this is a much lighter, much looser gauge than I would knit a sock, but it gives it that drape and that little bit more stretch, so I think on a garment it is nice to have that little bit of extra room. Moving on. Okay, so these, ooh, I should have got my sock blockers out, but they are like over a mountain of things. So there is the first sock, all done. I had 60 stitches. Did I do 60? No, 64 stitches with a long tail cast on, 2x2 rib, plain vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel, which luckily, I don't know how I did that, but you know, it's got one half of each part of the heel is different colour. Woohoo! And a wedge toe, 19 rounds of for that toe. You get that kind of final, which fits my feet really well because they are more square and not so pointy. Whoop. Rogue ball. These were meant to be for me. Oh, I mentioned the yarn, of course. I'm knitting them on hiya sharps 2.25 in magic loop. This is a bit of a mess. But okay, so Heart and Soul, which I love this yarn. It is quite woolly, but it washes and wears really well, and so far some of the ones I've made, they haven't bobbled at all. It's the Leapfrog colourway 0055 is the shade. So yeah, super happy with these. I was making them for myself, so I'm knitting away at work as I usually do. Oh yeah, they're self-striping. Yeah, you can see that. Anyway, knitting away, being quiet. I probably wasn't being quiet, I was probably chit-chatting. And my lovely friend Maria, my Swedish friend Maria, she came over and she was like, "Ooh, look at those stripes, aren't they even?" I was like, "Yeah, it does it itself." It requires no skill. She's like, "What a lovely colour." I'm like, "Yeah, I picked it, so thank you." She's like, "Who are you making those for?" Me. She's like, "Oh, really? Are you sure? Like, do you want them, Maria?" "Oh yes, they are my colours. I do like those socks." So these will be Maria's socks now because she's stolen them. She is a very, very knit-worthy person, and actually it's really lovely to have somebody who's interested in what you're up to and appreciates knitwear. Her mum knits, so she knows how much time and effort goes into it, and she really appreciates her knit socks. I did knit her a pair in the past. I knit her some cashmere bed socks, so she wants these. She will get them. I'm going to save them until she comes over to stay with me, and then I'm going to do like a little, like in hotels they do like a chocolate on the bed. Well, I won't have a chocolate on the bed, I'll have like some socks and then maybe like a little present, just, I don't know. I like cute things like that. So those are Maria's thieved socks. Only Maria gets away with it. No one else would get away with that. But she's so adorable. And she does it with this very innocent, "Oh, you can't say no. You get tricked into giving away your knitted socks." You know, she's more than welcome to them. But, so one is done. The next one just needs the toe. Yeah, literally I've done it needs half a toe. But as soon as I knew they weren't for me anymore, I totally lost interest. So anyway, that's like an hour's worth of work. And then I'll kitchen at the end. And I really love kitchen stitch, so there we go, that's done. That's all my knitting for this week. I have also got, oh gosh, I'm gonna lean over and I really, pardon me. Okay, so I've also been working on some embroidery, and this is the Emerald City embroidery by Satsuma Street, which is the Etsy shop, and the designer is Jodie Rice. So here is the finished result, and I went exactly with the colours that it suggested. So I just took this page to the shop and went one by one. There's a few that I have switched out because they had run out of that particular colour, so I did the next one. Fantastic. Stitched on 28 count. Okay, and I used the fabric that they told me to, so it's the Flax colour in the 28 Cashel Linen, and then it's framed in a 10-inch hoop, which I have as well. So yeah, fabulous. I'm knitting that. That's not the, you know, you work from these very, very close up, you don't work from these. I actually think it would be impossible to work from that grid. Anyway, let me show you what I've done. Just gonna take it out the hoop. Not very much, and this is many, many hours worth of work. So you've got Emerald City, kind of the front door, the front door of the gate to the city, and then, which is here, and then you've got the lovely dome, and then it will go into towers, and then in the front there'll be the yellow brick road and poppy fields, and then there's a little kind of forest going on there. I've never knit on linen before. I've never cross-stitched, because this is cross-stitch. I've never cross-stitched on anything other than Ada, and I don't mind Ada the way it looks. It has a slightly synthetic look to it, whereas obviously this is much more of a beautiful fabric in of itself. But Ada has lovely big holes and you can see where you need to put your needle, whereas this one you're looking very closely and kind of, I'm counting. Maybe after you've done it for a long time you don't need to count. And this needle minder I got from Cloudcraft online, which is so pretty. It's a stalk scissors, which I also have stalk scissors, and then it just captures your needle. You just drop your needle in the general area of the magnet and it just collects it, so no more lost needles, which I'm so often. It's just sitting in just a little padded bag that I made, just with some scraps of, I made a blouse in this, and that fabric was too expensive to buy enough for an entire garment, so I just bought a little bit for a small project. And this is in, I've got all of my different colours in a little notions pouch, and this one is by So Sweet Violet, which I got with my advent calendar. Ooh. So I keep them all together, and I put them all on these little bobbins, and then I label with them with the number, and I cut off a small piece, and all the leftover I wind in the opposite direction than the rest. Just means that it's much neater. Otherwise oh, there we go. I end up with a pile of tangled floss, which is not great, because that's really wasteful. You end up then throwing all that away and just getting a nice new piece, because it's easier. Gosh, all over the place today. I have really enjoyed doing it, but the work I've shown you is so much work. Raspberries in there. So many hours of work to get that result, and you really have to concentrate. So it's a daytime only project, which is a little bit silly because I do most of my crafting in the evenings. If you can see up here, I have framed my lovely thread folk floral fields, and there we go. It's just in a frame. When I frame them, I leave a lot of extra and I just gather it up. I haven't done a felt backing or glued on anything in the back to cover it, because I never know what I want to do later on. I really like it in the frame for now, but maybe later I'd want it on a cushion or on something else. So that gives me that flexibility that I can later on change its purpose. Oh, look at the back. Messy, messy, messy. But that doesn't bother me at all. Anyway, I just saw it there, so I thought you might like to see. All right. But there has been one project I've been working on quite a lot, and it's really big. So I'm going to try and show you, but it might not go well. I'm going to show you what it's meant to look like. So I really wanted a large piece of artwork, a painting, to go on my wall, and I found this. Gosh, blowing out. Anyway, it is a modern interpretation of the film poster Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock. Not going to get rid of the glare, are we? No way. Anyway, just ignore the glare. This is what I want it to look like. So you've got all the buildings in the background, really graphic, and then here is the blind that's halfway down. which one of my favourite films. I think it's so fantastic and I love Grace Kelly. So I bought a canvas which is very big. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far. And it might all go wrong, but I'm going to show you anyway. So maybe up on the machine. So it's quite big, and everything I paint on it takes a really long time because you're filling such large spaces. But so far so good. I'm going to fill in all the area and then do the lines of the blind going across using masking tape after. It's a little bit messy for now, needs some lines need straightening up. But, I know, not super crafty, but I just wanted to show you, sorry, back in frame, something that I've been up to recently. And I do lots of different things, so that is just one of them. I don't know how people feel about copying something, so I found that picture on Pinterest. I wasn't able to buy it anywhere, but I wanted it, so I just thought I'd do it myself. Now I would never do that and then sell it. I think that's really unfair to the designer, but for myself, I personally have no problem with that. Maybe you do. And I don't know if there are actually any rules about that. Maybe there are. If I could have bought it, I probably would have done, because it is a real huge pain to do it yourself, and I don't really have much space, you know, considering this little tiny area is my crafty space and my living space, so I don't get much room. It's probably my longest whip, other than a quilt that I once did. I've had that hanging about, I did all the black maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it took me so long to fill in all those, to do the text and the draw a couple of buildings out, that I just lost interest. I do lose interest if I don't start seeing progress quickly. Anyway, I'd like to show you my plan for my next project. So I really feel like after making this, I loved it, I really loved it, and I'm really happy with the fit, although this is the first time I'm wearing it, so I do need to get kind of more of a feel of if there's anything I would change. So Poison Grrls have done a new, it's called, what's it called? It's called Beauty School. Oh, yeah, user error. So it is just a fitted pullover, and then you can do it in a short sleeve version. She's got a matching turban, or there we go, lovely sleeve. This is a mock turtleneck on that one, and that one's just a, you call it a crew neck with it's a folded over, so this is bound off on the edge, but the other one is folded in half, so it goes under, so you would knit double this, and then presumably you stitch it along here. I did buy that yarn, not that one, the pinky. Yeah, I bought that yarn. Pinky lovely colour, from Beehive Yarns. Beehive Yarns, and there's the colour, which is a lovely peachy colour, very 50s colour. It is called Powder Puff. It's a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, 75% merino, superwash merino, 25% nylon, 100 grams, 425 meters. It's called Audrey, the base. Amy knitted up hers in another base, can't remember the name, but it's a sparkle base. And as I want it to be, I haven't struggled with the focus this entire episode, that would be really annoying. I didn't want a sparkly garment. know, some things I like sparkle, but for an everyday top I wouldn't necessarily. So I've got 3, which hopefully for my size will be enough. I know it's quite similar to this. What I like about that pattern is that it is really versatile. So you can have the higher neckline if you like it, you can have a longer sleeve, a shorter sleeve, you can go fitted to the waist, go longer than the waist, you can go slightly boxier, and I really like the idea of that. And because it's stockinette and it's knit in the round, it's super easy. She looks a little bit flamingo anyway. I'm hoping this will be a nice colour. Fingers crossed. And also she sent, how sweet is that? Glare Central. Anyway, it's a bumblebee or a honeybee. I'm unsure as the bee variety, but it's a bee. Because Beehive yarns. So cute. Lovely. And then the last thing I ordered, which is a little bit of a cheeky purchase, is a mini set from Lay Family Yarns in her spring. I've seen a few people have bought them and they were just, I ordered 2. I ordered 1 and then Etsy was doing something weird, and then so I ordered another one, and Kelly offered to give me a refund on the other, but then I was like, no. I could have had 1, but then I had 2. That was like, what, 2 is better than 1. Anyway. You can see there's a little bit of a theme with this colour. This is actually brighter than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more of that colour, to be honest. It's still beautiful, but through the pictures, that's the danger of buying things from online without seeing it, is people filter their pictures on Instagram especially, so what you see is not necessarily what you get. It's a fraction darker than it's showing, but yeah, it's kind of this tone. That's very accurate. So I thought it would have that slightly more muted tone to it, which it doesn't. It's not fluorescent, but it's almost fluorescent. It's a little bit brighter than I thought. But anyway, that is just gorgeous. And that one is so lovely, and all these tonally, speckly. If you have any idea what I should do with it, I was thinking the Land of Sweets cowl would be lovely. And then some for my blanket, because, you know, this just needs to be in my blanket. Any other ideas of like scrappy projects? If you have an idea, I would love to hear it. Aren't they pretty? Ooh. This is the spring, so there we go. Spring. No, doesn't like it. Spring. 5 20-gram minis, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Gosh, I absolutely sped through that today, which I had not intended to do. Anyway, yeah, that's those were all my projects. I'm really looking forward to doing some crafting. I've got the day off today. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This is my angel face turban, also by Poison Grrls, which I'm just going to awkwardly hover my head in a slightly odd, in an odd way. It has yeah, lovely texture, a lovely holy pattern, and these ties are unlike the Money Honey turban. You have to tie them. So the Money Honey turban is already knotted. This you have to bow, and then you get these little bits. You just tuck them in. Yay. And this was knit in, what did I knit this in? I knit this in the Madeline Tosh Merino Light Video Baby, which was a very strange colour choice for me. I don't know why I chose it. I thought it had a little bit of a Hawaiian. I must have seen a Hawaiian fabric that had some of these tones that had the orange and the pops of turquoise in a like minty, slightly minty natural tone. Yeah, I really like it. Although I don't really have much of a back of my head, so it does tend to like roll a little bit. So I just, you can clip it, but then I think it ruins my aesthetic. Not that, you know, anyone else would care, except for me. Gosh. So I'm going to try and enjoy some sunshine today. It's so lovely and warm at the moment in London. But as a homebody, I'm happy just to sit at home and do crafty things. So maybe I will push myself to go out and get an ice cream and have a little wander and maybe do some knitting outside and hopefully finish those socks, because Maria needs her socks. She needs her socks. Anyway, until next time, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Christina. You can find me on Ravelry as Gussets and Go Days, as well as on Instagram, which is where I'm active on social media. I like to post little snapshots of my life and my day and little things that make me happy, so pop over there if you would like to see some pictures or, you know, have a little chat, and I will see you soon. Hopefully not so long. So thanks a lot. Next time. Bye.